So I'm writing this new book called The Freedom Formula, and it's all about how do you get free in life. And if you don't already know, the number one source of your freedom is revenue. Let's just say that. Having money is freedom. A lot of people ignore money. A lot of people don't want to talk about money, especially women. We kind of put money on the back burner. We do everything but focus on our money. But the truth of the matter is, your money is your freedom. And if you don't go ahead and say that, then you end up doing things like working for free. Good morning, Grower Gail. You end up doing things like not charging your worth. And I want to help you fix that. But I'm giving away 100 copies of my book, The Quit Conspiracy. If you go to bit.ly/the big quit 2022, to the first 100 people, you can claim your copy. But my new book is called The Freedom Formula. Good morning, 3D Glass Designs. And a freedom formula is all about positioning you for a life of freedom. One of the things I've already started to do, for those of you that know me, you know I've been in this internet game for a long time. So I'm starting to claim semi-retired. I write it, I think it, and everything I do in my business from this point on is all about building things that will last while I'm in retirement. And if you don't already know, the number one way you get to retirement is not an age, it's a dollar figure. So if you don't already have an exit strategy for your business, set up a call, let's talk about it. If you don't already have an exit strategy for your job, set up a call, let's talk about it. DM me, send me a message, because the truth of the matter is, you don't get there but through planning. And your planning needs to be revenue based. And the world will have you chasing all of these things that are not freedom. So you got to chase the right things. But this morning, we're going to be talking about 5 things that are standing in the way of your freedom. I want you to write them down. Number 1, and just as a precursor, understand that you deserve freedom. Freedom is your right. And if you're not working towards your freedom, what are you working towards? I'm working toward a life where I can go where I want to go, do what I want to do, when I want to do it. Anything else is not freedom. Even if you're free as an entrepreneur, if you don't have the money to go where you want to go and do what you want to do when you want to do it, you're not free. So I'm talking about total freedom. Total freedom. So number 1, when you talk about what's stopping you from your freedom, the biggest thing is fear. And I look at fear like this. I can be super afraid of something. And more often than not, when I do it and look back, I say to myself, why was I so afraid? You're so afraid because the mass majority of people are not living courageously. They're not stepping out. They're following the status quo. They're institutionalized. So when you start doing something different than the people around you, it makes you feel some kind of way. But the truth of the matter is, the masses are not living like you want to live. So in order to be different, you're going to live different, you're going to look different, and you got to be okay with it. Which brings me to number 2. The number 2 thing standing in front of your freedom is worrying about what other people think about you. Somebody look at your neighbor and say, my God, you so worried about what other people think about you. You're not worried about what the Most High think about you. You're not worried about what you think about you. How do you feel continuously not doing the things you plan to do? How do you feel not living in a way that you want to live? And when you start putting how you feel as a priority over how everybody else feels, it's going to change the game tremendously. So number 1 is fear. Number 2 is worried about everybody else. Number 3 is procrastination. I'm going to be honest. Somebody said last night, you be procrastinating. And what that means is you let your plans overwhelm everything, because at the end of the day, instead of doing what you know you need to do, you're sitting around planning. And that doesn't work. At some point, you got to take action. Somebody type that in. At some point, you got to take a step. At some point, you got to move forward. At some point, you got to want what's on the line so bad that you're willing to do the things that are uncomfortable. I made a list of 7 things that I'm uncomfortable doing. And I made a commitment to myself that every day I'm going to do something, 5 things that make me uncomfortable in order to get where I want to go. And if I don't do the things that make me uncomfortable, I stay in my comfort zone. And your comfort zone, you got to admit, your comfort zone is not what you really want out of life. Your comfort zone is just enough. Your comfort zone is getting by. Your comfort zone is settling. And so when you get tired of just getting by, settling, living in a way that you really don't want to live, when you start to take action and do those things that everybody else don't want to do, and do those things that are hard, seemingly hard for you, when you start to move your feet, you're going to start to see the horizons open up, and you're going to start to be able to live your life the way you want to live your life. So the first thing is fear. The second thing is what other people think, your thoughts. The third thing is procrastination. The fourth thing is perfection. You know, I had somebody send me a note to say, oh, you need to look at this document. It's got X, Y, and Z misspelled. And I said, you know what? It's there. It's out. And I'm not saying I intentionally misspelled something, but it's done. I did it. Sometimes we're so busy trying to make things perfect that we don't realize imperfection still makes money. 90% still makes money. So while you're over there trying to get it just right, somebody else is somewhere with an imperfect thing. Let me tell y'all something. When Apple started releasing those phones that had bugs in them, because 9 out of 10, if you get an Apple phone, you're going to need an update, several updates in order to correct some issues. If what's trending to be the first $1 trillion company can release their mainstay product with issues, why can't I? Can I get an amen from anybody? If one of the biggest companies on the planet, you look at Tesla. Tesla had engines catching on fire. These multi-million-dollar companies are releasing their mainstay signature products. Look at these car companies releasing their products with recalls. But here I am trying to get everything quote unquote perfect, which it'll never be. And I'm losing money every single day that I don't put my product out there. So at some point, you got to say, how much money am I going to allow perfection to allow me to lose? How much money am I going to leave on the table? And that's why I say, guys, if you don't have a product, I'm about to release my luxury brand building series. And somebody said, well, some of your brands are luxury and some of your brands are not. How are you going to release a luxury brand building series? And I said, I've helped hundreds of women create a luxury brand. My brand is not, everything I have is not luxury. My brand is for the masses. But I know how to create a luxury brand. And many of you need to go ahead and increase your pricing and stop being afraid. And let me show you what it takes to create a product that people will pay $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 for. Because you can't keep selling $20 ebooks and think you're going to make $1 million. You can't keep selling $29 webinars and think you're going to make $1 million. At some point, you got to say to yourself, let me find out what's necessary and send me a DM if you're serious for me to sell a product that is worth my time, for me to sell a product that will free me financially, for me to create a product that will get me off my job. You know, one of my good friends say, stop playing with your time. If you're an entrepreneur, You do not have to make things affordable. Things don't have to be affordable. There are so many people that create products and they're not necessarily affordable. And it is up to you to create those products. And then let me help you find the people that will pay you what you're worth for those products. Does anybody need help creating that level of product? Say me in the chat. Because the truth of the matter is, as long as you're underpriced, as long as you're trying to make things affordable for everybody, the person that's you losing is you. The person who doesn't have access to their freedom is you. You got to say to yourself, I'm not only willing to create the product, I know how to show them the value. I know how to get people to pay. And that's something I can teach you with. So you don't have to be perfect to charge high dollar for your products. It's time for you to stop being affordable. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of times the people that can afford your product don't really want it. And so you wonder why they tell you it's too high priced. It's too high priced because the people that can afford it either don't really want it or don't really need it. So you have to take it upon yourself to stop trying to create that perfect product, because first of all, perfect product doesn't exist. And second of all, it's not going to make people buy it. So you got to move outside of your comfort zone. Number 5, we're talking about 5 things stopping you from your freedom. We said number 1 is fear. Number 2 is your thoughts, especially worried about what other people think. We said number 3 is procrastination. Number 4 is perfection. Last but not least is you. Somebody type in, I can have anything. Until you can rest upon the belief that you can have anything, until you're confident in the belief that you can have anything, until you walk in your blessings and understand that you were created differently. And because you were created differently, you're going to make money different than everybody else. You're going to live different than everybody else. But you got to accept your differences, but understand the differences don't keep you from having what you need. I want to renew my commitment to helping you be free, whether it's free from a job or financially free. I'm giving away 100 copies of my book. Make sure you go to bit.ly/thebigquit2022 to claim it. But you have to want in your heart of hearts to be free, financially free, free from a job. And only when you're ready to brave, right, the things that you're most afraid of, will you have the things that you want most. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys later.